From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon and welcome to your MTN Noon News for this Wednesday. I'm Hailey, Monaco. We begin with continuing coverage out of Lewis and Clark County. A Life Flight helicopter crew survived a crash while landing to pick up a patient in Lincoln. What you are about to see all took place Tuesday morning. That's home video capturing the moment a Life Flight helicopter crashed overnight in downtown Lincoln while trying to land in a parking lot just off Main Street. Now, it was a chilling moment. As MTN's Evan Charney reports, the situation could have ended much differently.
That's right. Everyone walked away from the crash relatively uninjured. And while we still have a lot of questions about how and why the chopper went down, we do know a little bit of information. It was a Life Flight coming from Missoula. There were 3 people on board, and none of them were patients. When the helicopter crashed, it was in the process of landing to pick up a patient.
It's literally like in the movies where it's like slow motion, things flying past you. That was what it was like.
Brandy Lindstrom lives in Lincoln and was awake with friends when a helicopter suddenly crashed in the Midtown Plaza parking lot right on Main Street. She says she could tell there was a problem even before the crash.
It was like right above the trees. You could tell it was going to be a really hard landing. And the sign doesn't have any lights or really anything to it to begin with. It was just an empty sign, so it would have been hard to see.
Brandy and her friends could only watch as the chopper hit the ground.
The more we watched, the lower they were getting. It sounded a little funny. And next thing you knew, they hit the pole and the helicopter crashed.
As soon as the helicopter hit, Brandy sprung into action.
I told my friends to run, but then I ran up here to help try to get them out of the helicopter. There was fuel leaking.
Brandy said thankfully emergency crews were quick to respond and the pilot had already been pulled out, but there were others inside.
It was just me and then the one officer at the time. He already had the pilot out, and then we were all getting in the other door open to get the other 2 out.
Brandy says she was so thankful everyone walked away with no injuries. In Lincoln, Evan Charney, MTN News.
More monsoon moisture moving into southwestern Montana on this Wednesday. You can see some rain showers, isolated thunderstorms from just west of Phillipsburg eastward toward Deer Lodge. Also some rain around Anaconda and Butte. Dillon's had some rain, but now we have most of it over West Yellowstone. We've also had more over Bozeman, Livingston, an area of rain pushing from Livingston through Big Timber all the way toward Columbus. And we have more chances going forward. Your 7-day forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Now time for today's leading look as we follow some of the other stories making headlines. An amazing story of survival as a missing hiker from Billings is found safe in the Beartooth Mountains. The 73-year-old man was reported missing Saturday evening. He was finally spotted late Monday night by an Air Force helicopter using thermal imaging about 7 miles from his last known location on the Beartooth Plateau. On Tuesday morning, a doctor was lowered in to help, and the Montana National Guard airlifted him to safety. The Stillwater County Sheriff says the man is in good overall condition. In Billings, a woman whose grandfather was allegedly smothered to death by her boyfriend pleaded not guilty to several charges connected to the case. Samantha Finch is accused of gaining ownership of her grandfather's assets through deceptive means. She's facing 4 felony charges, both neglect and exploitation of a vulnerable adult, as well as 2 counts of forgery. The grandfather, Donald Finch, was found dead in his motorhome in Huntley in November of 2024. 41-year-old Dean Frost is charged with deliberate homicide in the case. And a Montana company known for its beef jerky has laid off most of its workforce. High Country Snack Foods has been in business for nearly 50 years. Roughly 40 of the company's 50 employees were laid off in Lincoln and Bozeman, but 11 have been brought back to work. MTN reached out to the owners of High Country. The company tells us it is committed to staying in business and blames the layoffs on financial challenges they say date back to well before current ownership. In Gallatin County, a recent ICE raid in Belgrade ended with a woman in custody, accused of harboring undocumented immigrants. MTN's Megan Elaine is in Belgrade with how local police helped in the arrest and what neighbors have to say.
This photo posted by Homeland Security has been floating around social media recently, depicting an ICE raid that happened right here in Belgrade. On Thursday, August 21st, Homeland Security alongside Belgrade Police, City County SWAT, and other state and federal agencies took Astolia Casreal into custody, accusing her of harboring undocumented immigrants.
You know, as a police chief, the beauty of being a police chief is I don't have to immerse myself in politics at all. It's just I have one simple goal, which is public safety.
I met up with Belgrade Police Chief Dustin Lensing, and well, Belgrade assisted in the arrest.
I can't comment on pending federal matters because that's not our investigation. It's a federal investigation being headed up by the U.S. Attorney's Office. What I can say is that we did provide staff to ensure the safety of everyone in the community.
Lensing says, well, they work to provide resources and perimeter operations and involvement with City County SWAT. HSI cases that end up in Belgrade often involve broader issues.
The focus hasn't been on anyone's status. The focus is on underlying crimes that are happening in our community. Whether that be drug trafficking or human trafficking.
In the neighborhood where the arrest happened, residents didn't want to go on camera, but told me they woke up to flashing lights. One man says he was stuck inside his apartment for hours. Another woman said she appreciates police efforts to keep the community safe, but felt the raid put her family at risk, telling me, quote, I feel like they put us in danger. They smoked out the garage that was literally within 7 feet of where my son was sleeping, end quote. Neighbors also say they've seen more than 20 people in the home that was raided, and ICE had been in the neighborhood multiple times prior to the arrest. With the case still under federal investigation, no court date has been set, but Lensing says his department priority is clear.
Know that we have the community's best interest in mind, and again, that our mission is to maintain the safety of the public.
In Belgrade, Megan Elaine, MTN News.
Prior to May of this year, the facility behind me held about 25 older male inmates who were in need of additional medical attention. But since then, those men have been moved to Deer Lodge, and the facility has been remodeled to hold about 50 female inmates, freeing up space at the Montana Women's Prison in Billings. On Tuesday afternoon, Governor Greg Gianforte joined leaders from the Montana Department of Corrections to tour the Riverside facility just outside Boulder.
And I think the most impressive thing to me was the reaction from the inmates themselves. We had a chance to talk to the women. They love this facility. It's a big upgrade.
The inmates leaders spoke with are going through rehabilitation programs like horticulture.
This is the incentive. Yeah. You want to come here, and so therefore you have to behave, you have to follow, you have to be programming.
Billings has been established for a longer period of time. We're still standing up those job training programs, dog grooming program that we have in Billings that does not exist here yet. But as we increase capacity, we'll have the ability through scale to add those programs as well.
Leaders are planning to renovate another building at the Riverside campus with the goal of adding another 50 to 60 beds. Montana Department of Corrections Director Brian Gutkin said that would be enough to get all the female inmates that counties have been holding for the state into a permanent placement. During the 2025 legislative session, lawmakers approved almost $250 million to renovate or build prison facilities, including a new facility to handle the growing number of female inmates. I asked Gianforte if this campus would be part of the long-term solution.
Well, it's certainly going to play a role long term. We probably need about 400 beds total for female inmates in the state, so this is at least a quarter of the need.
Gutkin said the male inmates who had been at Riverside are being housed in temporary quarters at the Montana State Prison. There's currently construction at the prison aimed at adding more than 100 new beds. Gutkin says the eventual goal is to also build a separate unit for those medically needy inmates. In Boulder, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
In Cascade County, Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks is urging park visitors to stay alert and be bear aware following a recent encounter involving a bear and a hiker in Sluice Boxes State Park. FWP said this happened last Saturday. The hiker fired 2 warning shots at the bear in an effort to scare it. FWP staff responded promptly to the scene and conducted an extensive search, which included the use of an infrared drone. 4 black bears were located in the area, but no injured or deceased bear was found. Based on footage from the encounter, FWP believes the animal involved was a black bear, although the species could not be fully confirmed.
The world for bears revolves around getting enough food, and they're entering into the time of the year, the fall, when they're feeding even more and searching for food. So as some specific food crop ripens, like right now it's choke cherries. So the bears are really keyed in on that.
While no one was hurt in this case, FWP advises that if you encounter a bear, do not run. Instead, back away slowly while speaking calmly and use bear spray if the animal approaches. Travel in groups, make noise, and be bear aware when hiking.